Hello, everyone. I hope you're all staying well wherever you are in the world. I'm your host, Scarlett Bays. I'm the Senior Research Analyst at SDI. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar, which is 10 ITSM tool hacks, where our speakers will be talking through some tips and quick wins for boosting service desk performance. Now, they claim that each of these hacks can be applied in a mere few hours with immediate benefit. So it seems like we're going to be hearing some really valuable insight today. And we'll be hearing from Craig Wittick, Solutions Consultant at Axios, and Ed Perez, Senior Business Solutions Consultant also at Axios. So I'll now pass over to Craig and Ed, who will introduce themselves in a bit more detail before revealing some of those hacks. Hello, Craig.
Hi, Scarlett. Okay, let me take control of the screen. There we go. Ed, can you give us control again, please?
Okay, let's try that. Try now, Craig.
Thanks, Ed. So both Ed and I have been involved in IT service management for over 20 years. I mean, specifically, I've been with Axios Systems now for over 13 years. Our passion is finding the right solution for your challenges, whether that's IT operations management, IT service management, or enterprise service management, or actually most likely it's a mixture of all three.
Yeah, even in a couple of months ago, we never would have predicted the extent of our home working situation. One of our larger customers reported that in a period of 6 days, they had over 12,000 IT requests relating to home working that they needed to deal with. On average, you're all experiencing around 35% more IT incidents per day, but you're all in the same situation with even less staff. Year after year, that's always been the case. But with this COVID situation, it's really accelerated this.
I noticed as well, actually, Ed, our UK customers, they've also fed back as well that their support hours have been permanently changed from 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and it's now becoming 8 to 8 p.m. 7 days a week, but they've got the same level of resources. I'm seeing there's a real drive now to enable the best from the resources you have with more collaboration and sharing of knowledge and efficiency gains wherever you can find it.
And that's why we thought it would be good to share some ideas in the form of quick ITSM hacks that you could easily implement to gain some really quick efficiencies.
So let's get started. This is hack number one then. You've got to make sure that you're handling all your emails it's handled automatically. They're all processed as automatically as possible. So that's the logging of events from emails, the handling of the replies efficiently. I mean, ideally, I really want users to be able to open and close events just using a reply button within the email itself. There's no reason for my business users to actually go into the actual portals themselves and then take actions from that. I just really want them to be able to do that from an email, and it just gets processed automatically in the service desk tool.
And what you don't want is too much data in the audit trails. A customer recently asked if they could remove the email trail from replies, and as that can add a lot of unnecessary data to the audit trails. So if you apply appropriate business rules, you can look for the reply pattern and remove anything after that.
That's interesting, Ed. We're going to be using this quite a lot, actually. So let's have a look at the next hack. Hack 2 is very much related. I mean, we want to be able to keep getting a measure of customer satisfaction, during these difficult times. So we really need to make it as simple as possible to send and receive customer surveys. Now, I know most users don't want to have to click on a link in an email, which takes them into, an online portal to then fill out multiple questions and then submit that. It's too much hassle, to be honest. So the easiest hack is just to add interactive survey images into the actual the email itself. When you used to go through the airport and go through the security, you'd have that kind of the panel between sad and happy smiley faces. If you can remember going back that far with airports. But then you would select an image, and it automatically then sends a quick rating back into the tool itself, which creates an action in an audit trail. And you can escalate it. So it would automatically escalate to somebody like the service desk manager if it was a poor response, a poor rating that was coming in. But you could also have it so that it would automatically escalate it as well. So if it was like a high rating, a very satisfied customer, it would automatically escalate that to a team who was involved in closing it, just to recognize them and reward them. I thought that was really quite nice as well.
You know, Craig, I can really see how that would encourage end users to utilize this feedback with just one click and definitely increase user adoption.
Hack 3 now, this is the next one. So hack 3, ensure you consolidate all your approvals in a single tool. So what I've seen with a lot of organizations, they have approvals managed across multiple tools and in multiple different ways, sometimes requiring a signature, sometimes the email gets approved and it has to then be saved and attached, all the way through to multiple structured approvals. What I'd like to have is having all the approvals nicely managed in a single tool can significantly reduce approval delays that you're having and improve the satisfaction levels.
And I can also see how approvals can easily be replied to via emails. So that would really speed up the process of fulfillment. And not just emails, but also from mobile devices such as a tablet or even a smartphone.
So you're talking about your change management processes, your release processes, your service request processes, anything with an authorization or a decision could then just be done through an email. No users are actually needing to log into the system, so it's very quick. You get it on your mobile device, your smartphone, your tablet, you see the decision coming in, you make it, and it then just updates the processes and the workflows. Let's add a little bit more to that hack as well for hack number 3. How many of these authorizations could you configure just to be fully automatic based on some information from the event itself, the service request or the change, or anything that's held in the CMDB? I mean, for example, any sort of requests around home working at this point in time should really be fast-tracked and take away that decision altogether. Anything that's less than your budgets of maybe $30, anything less than that, just auto-approve it straight away.
You know, Craig, and I've also seen situations where if you have maybe 2 out of 3 authorizations are made, then fully approve the change and kick off that entire release process.
Yeah, we don't want to wait for that third person. I mean, I see that on such a regular basis. As long as 2 out of the 3 make the authorization, that's absolutely perfect for the change of the release, the release to go ahead. There we go. So in terms of this hack 4, this is all about processing your tasks. How good would it be if we could actually have it so that a business user could come into the self-service, into a service catalog, pick up a process such as I've got a poor performance with my laptop, and go ahead and actually then kick off a request that automatically then triggers off a number of stages in that process to say, for example, run diagnostics and do a resolution instantly. That's the sort of customer journey that's particularly impressive. That way, that request isn't even going to a technical support team. It's been automatically processed in the background. In this particular one, this particular hack, as part of hack number 4 here, I had a customer here he had a set of 60 PowerShell commands, and that was basically being triggered off through the process as well. So this was for a leaver process for contractors. First of all, it was then going through a manager approval, then there was offboarding interviews and planning stages. But once the employee had left, what we wanted to do there was just trigger off a whole series of PowerShell commands, worth about 60 commands there, that would then ensure the user's security was removed, their email accounts were disabled, their VPN accesses were revoked automatically, and they didn't, they were being audited afterwards to see if this was actually being completed. So it was in the action trail. Each of these different actions were then put into the action trail, so you could see that. Do get asked the question as well, though, what happens if the automation fails? Well, you always need to have some sort of manual task in there. So if the automation fails, what we can do is we can recognize that situation and automatically insert a manual task, one that then gets sent to a particular team, and they can then obviously investigate what actually went wrong and go ahead and do the task itself.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So, I mean, going back to that prior slide there, Craig, and plus all this activity that you're doing right here is all being completely tracked. So just imagine the value that you're providing to the organization with a quick hack just like this, just for audit purposes alone.
Hack number 5. This is all about spending extra time, that extra little bit time elevating your self-service portal. We'll make, for example, make the portal more accessible through colors, layouts, and pictures. It's time to really reevaluate that self-service that you have. I mean, while some users are happy just to sign on, look for what they need to, and sign off, others prefer to maybe navigate around some sort of friendly interface which guides them to, easy to understand graphics and frequently answered questions and service requests. We'll certainly look at things like chat options later on. Collaborations, we'll have a look at that later on as well.
Yeah, and shifting left would make a major impact to that analyst quote that you see listed below there, where we're talking about how there's 35% more IT tickets per day. So by shifting left makes your business users more self-sufficient. It enables them to achieve that goal that they would really like to provide a means to encourage users to move in that direction. Shift left, increase user adoption, and start recognizing real value.
If you look at this report, this was an SDI report in January 2020. It's the first time I've actually seen self-service is higher than the email support channel. So the adoption rate with self-service is definitely getting higher and higher. And I think the main reason for this is that the knowledge for the business users is becoming more and more accessible through the self-service portals. It's making the end users more self-sufficient. I mean, our challenge now is to keep that going, keep that momentum, and trying to elevate that self-service as high as possible. So we're talking as part of this hack here is use a well-designed service catalog to capture the information that is required by support. I mean, a lot of organizations that I see, they waste a significant amount of time and effort trying to contact the business users to get all the data that's required to resolve an incident or fulfill a service because they couldn't find it within the service catalog, for example. This email and this phone tagging, it can be very time consuming and frustrating. But capturing all the required information in a fit for purpose service catalog with the fit for purpose forms can significantly streamline things.
As a second part of this Hack 5, you really need to review your published knowledge base to the business. If you notice, you can an extra 30 to 40% of your tickets that you're currently reviewing or receiving today have to do with home working. So now, why not add those as a rolling top 10 FAQs with videos and how-to guides and start realizing the value that you can incorporate into your organization by introducing this hack?
Yeah, as soon as I started working from home, I had so many questions around, Wi-Fi connectivity issues and things like that, and access rights and VPNs and all sorts of things. So it would have been good to have had those available on that front page of that of the self-service. Hack number 6 now. This is the one process area that I think is going to, personally, I think it's going to suffer in the next 6 months is asset and configuration management. In 3 months' time, we're going to have to start to do asset audits just to work out where, for example, all the office monitors disappear to. When we left the office and started working from home, we were allowed to take monitors and docking stations and all sorts of things back to our houses. But we're going to have to do some auditing on that in about 3 months' time. So a quick hack would be to add a contact support form, potentially, that can enable a business user to indicate what assets they have at home, which will then automatically update the CMDB. We're talking about the configuration item status, the assigned ownership. I really want the business themselves to enable us to help us to then keep that CMDB up to scratch.
Yeah, and also by providing your end users with a view into their portfolio of items that they're currently subscribed to, such as the applications, the devices, and other items, they can review things like the warranty, the costing information, and the support information right from their self-service portal without even opening up a support ticket. This would be a fantastic hack. Real value, real quick.
What I've seen actually recently as well is we can extract all that information from the CMDB. Who is the affected users? What assets are they actually allocated to? Which devices do they have? List that in an email. Just send that to them as an email and say, look, there's a drop box in the email itself just to indicate, do you possess this? Is this in your house? You can say yes, no, and then the reply back email then automatically updates the CMDB. So again, it's changing the item status and the assigned ownership. That is such an easy, very, very, very quick hack because you could be talking thousands of users with thousands of assets that we need to then do a re-audit again against. Hack number 7. Now, this hack is all about empowering your first line to increase your first time fix rates. The best knowledge in my organization is actually in the hands of my second line team. So this simple hack really is to provide the first line with automated guidance based on the events, the affected item, the categorization. So for every combination you have of item and categorization, the second line can create a set of knowledge procedures or work guidelines, work instructions like links to wiki pages or SharePoint sites, anything to really help that kind of first line. So I mean, over a very small period of time, this will surely and slowly but increase your first time fix rates. So, it's becoming much easier and quicker than searching around a knowledge base using keywords. Really what I want is that guidance right on that top level there. And you can see that there on the top right hand corner there.
Yeah, and the next slide we're going to go to is all about similar events. Right? So if you notice on this slide on the lower right-hand corner, the similar events, this is how many times do you have an agent that's searching for a particular issue that's occurred before, or maybe there's even a major issue that's addressing this same issue. And maybe there's occurrences where this particular issue has been resolved before. Wouldn't it be fantastic if you can provide this information in a similar events section, giving them, let's say, related changes, maybe even the knowledge articles that solve this particular issue? Remember, providing this information to your first line agents can easily speed up resolution and back to action.
Especially that similar knowledge solved one. That there is looking for any events in the last year that was solved using knowledge bases, which you've completely forgotten about. You're dealing with a new incident, for example. You have no clue about that was a year ago. So what this particular product is doing is it's proactively searching for any of these kind of events that's happened in the past. That's past 6 months, past year, and I'm going to suggest you have a look at these ones first before you do anything else. This has been resolved first before. Save yourself some time there. Hack number 8 now. This is all about sharing the knowledge with inbuilt collaboration. Now we're not having physical meetings now, not for quite a while. In fact, we're probably not going to have physical meetings now for the rest of the year actually. But we still need to have a place where we can capture meeting notes, discuss issues, major incidents, collaborations, and things like virtual cab meetings for changes and releases. And as far as I can see, there are two options. You integrate your ITSM with something like Microsoft Teams, which we can do. But there are hundreds of other tools out there as well, like Yammer and things like that. So we integrate with them. Or you roll out inbuilt collaborations. And the difference here is that the information shared is fully indexed within the product itself. It's fully searchable, just like the knowledge bases that you have.
And sharing good knowledge or experience should be recognized and rewarded. So it gives you a good feeling when you get recognized for helping out your peers. And we can do that with the inbuilt collaborations as your colleagues can feed back, just like they do today with Teams, LinkedIn, or even Facebook.
So hack 9 now, this is the second last hack. It's time to push out mobile working. Now the first thing I did 2 months ago was install, we installed Teams in the office, and I installed Teams on my phone straight away. I mean, the same can be done with your ITSM suite. It's the perfect time for this technology.
So by having a mobile solution that provides an easy to navigate interface with things like interactive icons, notification reminders, a robust catalog display with feedback ratings, and even an enterprise search functionality is just one hack we would all love to have. Also, with a minimalistic display, it's easy to follow with just a few fields to complete. And your end users can then focus on other more important tasks than just opening up tickets. So at any point in time, they can return to the mobile interface and display a quick process flow bar. Now, this flow bar gives them a high-level glance of where they are in their submitted request and where that request sits in the fulfillment process in just a matter of seconds.
Finally, we're into hack number 10. So this is all about adding a very simple chatbot to your SharePoint site, your self-service portal, or maybe Microsoft Teams, for example. We've partnered with Microsoft, so you can start to build a very simple but very effective chatbot. The main thing here is you can actually test the chatbot before you place it within your SharePoint sites or your self-service portals or your Teams, for example.
So here are just some of the use cases that you can address with the introduction of a chatbot to your ITSM solution. You can quickly log incidents, log issues and requests, locate the proper offering for your requirements without the need to navigate through a catalog that might be comprised of multiple categories, subcategories, offerings, and bundles. It allows you to get to the right data in just a matter of seconds. Also, get to the right knowledge article. That way you can become more self-sufficient. With more and more organizations standardizing on MS Teams, have your chatbot integrated with Teams for quick access. So now we're going to actually walk through a demonstration of a chatbot in action. So you'll notice on the lower right is our little chatbot where I can click on and ask a question. That question could be anything that the particular, let's say, requester needs, like, they're needing some help today, or maybe they need to get a quick listing of all their open issues and requests with quick links that'll give them that information in just a matter of seconds. Also, let's say the particular user needs to maybe order an item, such as an iPhone. They can put in the request for an iPhone and they'll get displayed with a list of models and options of that iPhone. Select the model and maybe any additional attributes like maybe storage or maybe extended warranty. They can easily do this from a chatbot, maybe even scheduling of this request. When do I need this by? This can all be achieved from your chatbot.
In terms of your use cases for chatbots, the sky's the limit, really, especially when I start to involve my DevOps teams as well. Absolutely, you're pointing your users to the right FAQs. That's the first thing. With every sort of chatbot release that I've seen, it's that you've got your knowledge base that's in there. The knowledge base could be part of your SharePoint site, so your internet pages or wiki pages or even YouTube videos. The chatbots allow you to index all of these different contents, all of these different external systems, as well as your internal ITSM knowledge bases that you have, and then point your users directly to those different areas. You're going to save time there. It may well be that you devise it, you configure it so it's a step-by-step user instructions. That's the sort of thing I want to be able to resolve myself, so I really do need sort of step-by-step instructions on that one. But it could be things like password resets and things. You can parse out that information and kick off the process, the service request process, to then start the process for doing a password reset. Because obviously that takes things like, authorizations and that kind of thing to happen. But it could well be to, automate things like virtual machine hosting, access requests, all sorts of things like that as well. The other thing is that your service catalog, as it's been built up, your catalog could have, 500, 600, 800 service offerings, if it's covering things like HR, facilities, and IT, procurement requests. At the end of the day, as your catalog grows over the years, you are going to have, several hundred sort of service offerings, for each of these different customer journeys. And your users may get quite frustrated looking around for these different offerings. So, a chatbot is the first place I would then ask for. It would then recognize the words that I'm looking for and then point you straight into the right part of the service catalog. I'll notice there that Gartner predicts as well by the end of 2020, 55% of all large organizations will have deployed at least one chatbot in production. Now, I think it'll be a bit less than that, but the momentum is definitely there. A lot of my customers that I'm seeing are asking questions about it and looking to see how much effort it actually takes. But you can see the value in these chatbots is in the background there.
Yeah, and really anything over 40% gives you true value. So when it's fully adopted and it's driven by senior management, the benefits will justify the time and effort that you've put into it. And that time and effort could be very minimal, from 24/7 availability, faster ticket resolution, proactive engagement, and of course, cost optimization. So to help with this, let's consider some chatbot related metrics.
I was asked by one of our customers how much time they actually spend each week, training that chatbot. They said to me that it takes them roughly about 2 hours a week for one person. And the thing is, the Microsoft's the chatbots, they allow you to see the responses for every single question. So you can review at the end of the week, how many of the answers it provided were actually quite good, which ones have to be revised and updated again. So you actually get to review that kind of knowledge-based usage and how it's actually being used. And 2 hours a week, well, that's a pretty good, balance between, quite a reasonable reward there for quite a small amount of effort at the end of the day.
So at this point, I would like to introduce Matthews to give us an overview of Axios Systems and who we are. Matt is a business development manager out of the North America region. Matt?
All right, thanks, Ed. So Axios Systems has been a leader in the IT service and support industry for over 30 years now. While our corporate headquarters is located in Edinburgh, Scotland, we have 21 other offices strategically located around the world supporting our global customer base. With our company being founded around the same time as the concept of ITIL was coming about, Axios has been on the cutting edge of the ITIL evolution and has in fact led the way with our consistent stream of innovation over the past 3 decades, all the way through this latest iteration of ITIL 4. And since day one, we've been 100% focused on the world of IT management. That includes IT service management, IT operations management, as well as IT business management. Along with this singular focus, we've also made it our mission to provide our software in a manner that promotes configuration over customizations, allowing our customers to achieve real value much quicker than the other comparative solutions on the market. Assist is not a development platform. It is a fit-for-purpose IT management solution that offers a very attractive total cost of ownership with an impressive list of features and capabilities all built right in. And because our focus has been and continues to be on IT service, operations, and business management, all of our R&D investment goes back into our one single solution, enabling our customers to benefit from the latest technology and advancements early and often. Axios Assist is highly regarded in the analyst community as well. We were the first vendor to achieve peak verification for all 16 ITIL processes and have been on the Magic Quadrant for 20 consecutive years now. We were also the first vendor to achieve BS 15,000 certification, which has now become ISO 20,000 as the international standard for IT service management. Our mission is very clear: create software that people love to use, which in turn allows our customers to deliver the most efficient, most effective services possible. So here we have a cross-section from our list of over 1,200 successful deployments with the likes of FedEx, British Airways, KPMG, and many more. Customer success is in our DNA. In fact, we're solely measured by the success of our customers. And as you can see, that spans across all industries, which is why our rich history and decades of experience makes Axios Assist a safe choice.
Okay, thank you all so much for that. That was some really interesting insight there. So to the audience, as you can see, all of Axios's contact details are on screen. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the panel, in the question panel provided, or if you want to reach out to Axios directly, you are more than welcome to do that. So I have a few questions for Ed and Craig. So first of all, as there's been a lot of talk of chatbots in this webinar, how would you go about implementing one?
Hi Ed, I'll take this one. It's a really good question actually. So you can subscribe to the Microsoft's Q&A Maker, which allows you to start to build and test a chatbot completely separately from your ITSM solution, right from the very beginning. And at that point, once you're comfortable with it, once you're happy with the way it's working, you can then embed it into your self-service portal, which is what we've done at Axios here. We can embed it into Microsoft Teams, which is fantastic because that's what we're all working on as well. It's the same sort of area if I'm asking questions, or potentially into a SharePoint thing, or somewhere like that. I mean, wherever you think it will generate the most value. The customers I've spoken to, they've said that they've started with service requests, so I can understand that. They're training the chatbot to point users to the correct part of the service catalog first of all, And I can see exactly why, because if you've got 300, 500, 800 service offerings, it's going to save users time, a lot of time navigating around. And probably one of their biggest questions is, where do I find something? If it's an HR query to do with pensions and payroll, where do I have to go to get that? And as much as you can design a really good catalog, you're still going to get that type of question. So that's what they've been focusing their chatbots on, and it's pushing the user straight into the right part of that service catalog. And if second phases after that involves maybe HR queries, maybe facilities management type queries, and incident. Finally it becomes incident management, and then solving faults using the FAQs you might have, your knowledge base. What I would say is I suppose the best part is that the Q&A maker, the Microsoft products, they do provide a report on all the questions that our business users actually asked and the sort of the answers it provides. So as I would say, once a week, you could then, review all of these kind of Q&As and start to improve the ones you're not happy with. That's where that kind of 2 hours per week effort, that's what I mentioned earlier on, that's where that comes from.
Okay, fantastic. You also mentioned Microsoft Teams integration. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm quite excited about that one as well, actually. So it's, we're right in the process right now of developing this Microsoft Teams integration. So from what I've seen, it's, the status of your users within the ITSM suite would actually be driven from the status in your teams, which is perfect. That you want to know who's available, who's in meetings, who's away on holiday, that kind of thing. And you also want to be able to kick off a Teams chat from within the ITSM suite, and that's exactly what we want to do. So you then, you want to take an event, kicks off the collaboration within Teams, which is our natural product now these days, and then update the event afterwards from the Teams chat conversation. This gets asked for on a quite a regular basis. So I believe it's the integration will be available very, very soon for us.
I think that's definitely something that a lot of organizations can benefit from at the moment, especially with so many end users working from home. So I have one final question, and it's about Hack 3, which talked about a workflow designer. I wondered how easy it was to build the stages, phases, tasks, and decisions.
Oh, I'll take this, Craig. That's an awesome question, really, because the Assist Workflow Designer, which we call our process designer, is actually deployed with a template library. Now, clients can utilize these templates for processes such as problem, change, request, knowledge, or even more. Now, the library can also retain non-IT entities for areas such as facilities, HR, and others. Now, the entities within these templates can be copied to new processes for the organization. So organizations can quickly realize value with their workflows by utilizing these templates. As you saw in the slides, the process designer is a graphical user interface with easy to use and drag and drop capabilities.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really interesting. I particularly like the aspect of being able to include other sort of back office functions, a bit enterprise service management-esque. So I think that's about all we have time for today. So thank you, Craig, Ed, and Matt for all your amazing insight. This has really been an interesting webinar, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to the audience for joining us. I hope you will have a fantastic rest of your day as well. Goodbye.